Hey guys, today we are going to be doing an analysis of the 2022 election. We're going to be taking a deeper look in North Carolina. I've done my Ohio episode. I'm going to do most swing states or ones states are not, let's say, um, like safe. I think I'm going to make an analysis about them. And so I'm going to do this with North Carolina too. North Carolina is an interesting state. Obviously, you can see the Republicans are favored to win in the deluxe mode. This is a good sign for them. But let's get more depth. Ted Budd is the Republican nominee. He is Ted Budd is the Republican nominee. He was a businessman and a U.S. representative from North Carolina since 2017. Cheri Beasly was a prosecutor. She was an American attorney and jurist who served as a Chief Justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court and stuff like that. But this is a really interesting race. The Democrats don't really have a chance, even if we only the only chance they have is with the polls, which show Cheri Beasly leading. This is not likely to happen. If you go to the classic, still Cheri Beasly, but deluxe is probably the best mode. And this is showing Ted Budd is really going to win. Cheri Beasly can win in maybe the very, very best case scenario for the Democrats, and if their chances go up by a lot. But right now, the polls are really just suggesting that Beasley is not going to do really well, and Ted Budd isn't going to do well either. I mean, Ted Budd will do pretty well. So here's the thing I think about Cheri Beasly. I feel like she's a good candidate because she's a prosecutor and her law and order background might do well with like a lot of white suburban voters, and I think that will help her because she's also going to win the minority vote, and so obviously Democrats are going to win. Democrats are going to win in North Carolina and Georgia because they win the minority vote and some white suburban voters. That's how they win in the South at this point. So this is how Cheri Beasly would be in a good candidate. I feel like she will do well. She has some pretty common sense decisions, and it was pretty popular from my knowledge, even though not a lot of people know about her. But she is pretty good. I feel like she will get the minority vote to turn out, while also winning a lot of swing white voters in the suburbs overall. Also, she would do well with the women vote. Probably, I think that would be a good thing, a plus for her. Obviously, the women vote is the women vote's obviously a big issue. And also, you see in North Carolina, there's a lot of metro areas growing, and those populations that could really grow. I mean, really go out for Beasly, and that could help her a little bit. But Beasley's not looking good. Ted Budd has a very big advantage. Ted Budd is basically a really good candidate, just as Cheri Beasly. He's going to do well. He's just going to do he's going to do well as an average Republican in North Carolina, which in my opinion is 1 of 4 points, or even slightly margin. I think Budd will win by 4 points, but I do think that he's going to win a lot of the traditional evangelical Republican voters, and that's why I think Roe v. Wade will not help Cheri Beasly too much in North Carolina. North Carolina, I think, is a pretty religious state, and Roe v. Wade is obviously not very moral to religious people, so that's not going to help Cheri Beasly. I don't think it's not gonna take support away from her. But I just don't feel like it's going to help her in this specific race. Um, and also, this North Carolina has been a swing state in recent years, but it's still very partisan for the Republicans. In 2016, Trump won the state by 4 points, and then in a blue wave year in 2020, he won it by 1 point or less. I do not remember. But this is a close state. It is a swing state, but it does favor the Republicans. And in a midterm year that is favoring the Republicans, I think this will be a 4 points victory for Ted Budd. We'll look at some polls before we exit. As you can see, the latest poll has it even between Beasly right now. They have Beasly winning the polls, which the polls are not the greatest thing to go by, obviously. But if we look, polls are really bad. The John Bolton Super PAC has some really crappy polls. They always have Democrats leading, even though they're partisan for the Republicans. But the best one has Bud leading by 4. That's the best poll out of all of them. So, that's a pretty, yeah, Bud by 3 points is not too bad, actually, I think, for Cheri Beasly. That is actually pretty good case scenario. Well, that's a pretty good, that's like better than she will do, I think. Bud, 5 points, that is pretty possible that it really could happen. I feel like they are overestimating the third party candidates, even though I do not know too much about them. But these two polls show Bud winning, while these two polls show Beasly winning, and this one just has it even. This is a very biased poll. Beasly by 4 probably went to Charlottesville and like interviewed like just the urban areas, young hipsters or something. Very bad polling there. This could be a more reliable source. Beasly by 2, that could be reasonable. And this one right here is just a straight off tie. This I do not think would happen. In really any case scenario, Cheri Beasly or Ted Budd will win, and it will be close though if Cheri Beasly wins. But I just don't really see it being an exact tie with the percentage. But it does have Cheri Beasly currently on 538 leading by 0.1 points. So tell me what you guys think about this race. I love Cheri Beasly personally, and I'm really sad that she's gonna lose. So, but I can't cope about it, I guess. But tell me who you guys want to win in the comments. Tell me if you agree or disagree, or if I should add anything to my commentary on this race. Thank you guys for watching, though, and I'll see you guys again soon.